All right, welcome to another edition of 10 Minutes with. Kate, we have a prop that you were supposed to bring to the show last week, but you didn't bother to show up. So, yes, she accuses me of talking too much. So I bought her a quiet please golf sign when I started talking too much. So are you telling me to be quiet now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Anyway, so we'll jump right into it. Our guest today comes to us. He's in Southern California. He is the host of Sports Talk with Mark and DP. Please welcome Mark Bland. Welcome, Mark.
Hey, thank you so much, DJ. I appreciate it.
So it's good. We tried to record this yesterday, but you were out in the middle of nowhere and didn't have great signal. So we scrapped it. We're gonna try it again. So far, so good. So let's jump right into it. You've started your podcast. You've been running it actually in parallel with a radio program. Tell us a little about that. How you got started. Why you got started.
Yeah. So my whole podcasting background, the original story is how I got into it some years ago, almost 5 years ago. This is about 5 or 6 years ago when I was living back in my hometown, Detroit, Michigan. I got connected with Rob Parker of FS1. And really, we did a baby podcast, did about 4 episodes right before I moved out here to California, just to get a feel for it, see if this could be an avenue, a way for me to get involved in the sports media, stay connected in the sports sphere as I was already working in the industry as it is, but to get a chance to navigate and do something a little bit differently. But when I got out here, I took some time away from podcasting. And then when I moved to LA, I had an opportunity to get connected with the Good News Radio Network, which is what I'm on now, where you can find the show. We had a couple meetings about it. It was a good fit. And then when the show started, I started in March of 2019, so over a year ago. Originally it was just a one-man shop. It was just me. Would have a couple people on here and there whenever I could. But as I got into it more and more, I realized that I needed more voices with me on a consistent basis. So ended up growing the show to 3 people, but now it's 2. So Sports Talk with Mark and DP. And this has been good. It's a great way, again, like I said, for me to stay connected to something I love, which is sports, and have fun and be loose with it.
So real quick before we move on to the next question, I mentioned yesterday when we talked that this is now 2 episodes in a row that Rob Parker has gotten a mention. We last week we were talking about Kirk Cousins, and he had an incident about probably about 12, 15 years ago now, where he wrote that Kirk Cousins, stop it, Kate, got in a fight with the Michigan State hockey team, but he wasn't actually there. But yeah, it's weird of all names that gets brought up 2 weeks in a row. How did you get introduced to Rob Parker? Because even of several years ago, I mean, he was still kind of on a national level at that point. How did that arrangement start?
Yeah. So one of my god brothers back in Detroit, his dad is in business with Robin and Cohen, a barbershop in Detroit, which I used to go to. And when I was younger, I would see him come in, every now and then. I would say hi, but I was the goodest we ended up having was. So, god brother, he went to prom, and Rob was there. We spoke a little bit, but then after that, something just told me, hey, reach out to him, just reach out one more time and actually come with a proposition. And that's what I did. Literally, I just, winged it. Ended up getting my information to him, and then he reached out to me, and then we've been friends ever since. And we still stay connected now as we're both out here in LA. So we talk pretty often, actually.
That's very cool.
So what should a new listener expect when they hear your podcast for the first time?
Yeah, for sure, Kate. Any new person that comes on, gets a chance to listen to our show, which we encourage everybody to do, get ready to have some fun with us. We're here to, we're making jokes most of the time because it's sports and as deep and as serious it can be at times. We have fun with it. It's lighthearted. Now, there's other times where things happen in the sports sphere, and that requires a very, intellectual conversation for us to dive into. And we have those moments as well. But ultimately, at the end of the day, you're coming to get 2 people with a different perspective who have, they've had their foot in the door as far as sports working, as well as playing in the sports too. And again, we're just coming to have fun It's not Sports Center. It's not, Fox Sports 1. It's not just highlights and scores and things like that. If you want that, you go to them for that. But that's not what we ask people to come do with those expectations.
I'm still I'm still wrapping my head around that. You just, you approached a nationally famous columnist from, a barbershop and built a relationship off that. I mean, that's just so wild that just, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just bouncing back it's amazing. Like, you never know in life. You get one of those chance meetings. You just happen to know the right person or be at the right place at the right time, and just an opportunity will explode. That is so cool to me.
That's story of my life, man. That's how I've gotten a chance to meet a lot of people. Fortunately, just having the courage to just go say hi to somebody, treat them like a human, and not come from a fan perspective, but just say, hey, this is who you are. Get who you are to get what you do. Here's who I am, and here's what I would like to do. How by this interaction can we make something happen? Whether it's a professional experience or just a great interaction for that one time or multiple times. So whatever case may be. And that's something I encourage anybody to do who is looking to go into any field, whether it's sports or anything else. If you see somebody in your industry, just say hi.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was probably Wayne Gretzky, Michael Jordan. I've seen it credited to both of them. They say, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So that's.
Are you reading motivational posters again, DJ?
Not today. I mean, we'll say it's Gretzky because, I guess I got the Gretzky jersey on the wall behind me. Wrong arm.
I think I'm gonna get you that little cat poster where the cat's there and it's like hang on for your office for Christmas.
No,
yes.
There's actually a standing ban on my house that there's nothing else is allowed in the house that hangs on walls. The landlord / boss / mother of my children has made that rule. So you'll have to take that up with her on your own time.
Okay. So what's a piece of advice that you would give to a new podcaster?
Piece of advice I'll give to a new podcaster: just be genuinely you, be authentic. I would tell somebody, go in and be the best you that you could be, because at the end of the day, that's what people are coming to listen to. It's you and the content that you're giving. If you go to be a character or a caricature of yourself, and it doesn't feel like it's you, people can see that very quickly. People can hear that very quickly. So just be authentic, just be yourself, because in a world where there are so many characters, authenticity is something I think a lot of people do strive to find on a daily basis. So be one of those, pieces of authenticity for them.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great advice. Before we wrap up real quick, I want to talk about the Good News Radio. This is a great independent organization that, we've stumbled upon. There's quite a few shows. Can you tell us a little bit about them and just kind of how you found your way there?
Yeah. So my man Keith Good News, this is his baby. Again, something I'm just glad and honored to be a part of. He started a couple years back. He started, his journey. Somebody I would highly recommend you guys have on here, but somebody who started, this in his basement at his dad's house, when it was just his show, and then he had dreams of having his own network, and that's what he did. And it's gotten so big to the point where there's, how many shows? I think 17, 18 shows now.
Oh, wow. And
it's 2 different stations at this point. When I first got there over a year ago, it was just one station with a couple sports shows and a couple of lifestyle or talk shows. And now they have their own division, and sports that we have our own division. So the amount of growth we've had just in the past year and a half alone is tremendous. It's something, again, I'm very honored to be a part of. And how I got connected. So, okay, another Rob story. There is a group chat that I was in, and the sports station manager, Michael Matthew, he was in it, and I didn't know Michael at the time, but he was in the same group chat, and he posted a flyer that said, "Hey, we're a network looking for to add a couple sports shows," and I knew I could do it, and so it was like, yeah, why not build something new? And so I reached out to him, met with Keith, and what I told him was, right now I don't have my own show. I've done it before, and I've done sports writing in the past. Here's my experience, and I would love to build something new with you guys. And because what they were asking for again was already a show in place to take on. They took a gamble on me and said, "Hey, we'll be here to build something with you." So, without those two guys, this show doesn't exist.
I've talked to both Keith and Michael before. Both are really, really good guys. It's very cool watching, just seeing what they build on social media. They've got a mobile app now. I mean, it's very, very cool what they've done.
Yes, everybody go download the Good News Radio app, iTunes, Google Play Store. It's there, it's free, and you have access to over, 17, 18 shows. Very interactive for everybody that wants to be a part of it. And again, it gives you something new. Everybody that's a part of the network is authentic, very authentic, true to who they are. That you're gonna get from every show. Nobody's faking it. We don't fake the funk over here.
So, Mark, thanks for being on the show. Before we wrap up, tell us, you mentioned you can be found on the Good News Radio app. Tell us where else you can find the show and where to find your social media.
Yep. So also, the show again, Sports Talk with Mark and DP. If you search it in iTunes or Spotify, those are like the two other platforms we're on. It's still under the old name, Sports Talk with Mark. Logo's there. You'll find that we just recorded episode, what was that, 47 last night. So that one should be up and loaded by the end of the weekend. And then also, we actually did an experiment yesterday, so we're going to continue to do now. We did the show with the guest, and we used IG Live, so that way everybody on the radio could still hear them. And then if you tuned in on IG Live, you could see us. So that's something we're going to do going forward. So if you want to follow us on IG Live, follow me. It is @ my full government name, Markeinen, MarKeinen. If you want to chat with me on Twitter, it is Sports Talk Mark 7.
Awesome. Again, Mark, thanks again for being on the show today. The show is Sports Talk with Mark and DP. Check that out wherever, on the Good News Radio app or wherever you download your favorite podcast.
For sure. DJ Kate, thank you so much for having me, guys.
Thanks for joining us.
Yes, thanks for stopping by. And
not a problem.
And thanks again for coming back to re-record after the technical problems yesterday. So
hey, not a problem, DJ. My pleasure.
So DJ, where can we find us?
I was about to say that before you interrupted me.
Mm.
So check us out at stadiumscene.tv. Give us a follow at Stadium Scene on Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest, and at @stadium_scene on Instagram. And we will see you next time.